Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Reggie with the Basic Black Podcast. Been gone for a second, but I'm back. Let's talk. So I'm really I'm impressed. Thank you to the little bit of the hate mail that I've received. Thank you to the um statement saying that I'm an agent. Also statement saying that I'm a tether and everything else that comes along from you guys know who I'm talking about. I'm trying not to talk about so many people so quickly, but let's be for real. When people start talking about you, you're touching a nerve. And when you're touching a nerve, you are truly getting closer than they would want you to be. And I'm fine with that. One of the big things for me is I tell a lot of people the truth does not have to be rehearsed. And I'm so much a big believer in that. And we know that right now we're in such a tender climate to where the way we present ourselves and the way that we do things in social media or in the, print media, television, if you get on the news station and whatnot, we seem to get scrutinized a little bit more than most. And I really feel that we have a responsibility as being members of the black media to be able to, with truth and transparency, go in and expose things. Now, sure, there's some people that would prefer for that not to happen, but I think we're long overdue for doing this. And this goes back to Mr. Johnson, that it doesn't make him the catalyst of who runs a bad school. I'm going to say that. You can go back, and this might be a little bit further back for most people that are listening. You can go back to when Oprah Winfrey had a school in Africa that was under scandal, and it had to be closed down and whatnot. So that is one way to look at things. For me, I can go back and also look at that there was other things. One thing that's coming to light now is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Dr. Boyce Watkins came out and was very tough talking about Umar and some of the missteps that he's taken with the FDMG Academy. Now, I really feel like the missteps that were taken could have been avoided, but it's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black. And if you remember correctly from your history, that Mr. Watkins was pretty much so backing a fraud himself to the tune of $13 million. So I guess he who cast the first stone in that case would be you might need to sit this one out. And he chose to not. So that what that does is it opens up more questions. For me, I've had a number of questions that I've wanted to ask, and it's kind of the reason why I reached out to the city of Wilmington, Delaware, because I wanted to know the official answer. I wanted to know what was really the situation surrounding the FDMG Academy. We can hear all the stories. We can hear when Umar's talking about the white man has done this, the black man's trying to take this from me and whatever and whatnot. To me, that's theatrics. And you can't just gauge how you're going to do things by theatrics. So that's the reason that brought me into the sphere. Is this just, Reggie's in here for politics and the quick story? No, I've been doing the Basic Black Podcast for a couple years now. And one of the things that made me really want to get attached to this is the fact is that I've dealt with a therapist who was unlicensed. So I know the damage that can happen when you deal with somebody who isn't licensed. For the research that I initially did into the credentials of Dr. Johnson, he is a doctor. He is able to practice as a school psychologist. I think that it's exclusive to Pennsylvania. I don't think it has any allowance to any other states, and I might be wrong on that one. If I am, I'm glad to correct myself. One of the things I was searching for was to see if Dr. Johnson or Jermaine Shoemake had a MPI number, and MPI number is the National Provider Index number. And that's the number that's provided to clinicians, um, be it, medical doctors, dentists, whatever and whatnot. And that's how you bill your insurance. So I didn't find a number, but I did look back through some previous interviews that actually looked into it, and I kind of came up with the same thing. The issue, my friends, my people, my fam, is please hang on with me. This one, I'm almost going to round it up. But the thing about it is, we have to really hold people accountable, or we will continue to get situations like this. We will continue to get the grifters. We'll get the fake doctors, or the people that are legitimate paper doctors that will always have a grift. You have to understand that the pandemic did a great disservice to a lot of people, to where it changed the way the job market goes. It changed the way that we look at our daily paychecks and our daily living. Now you have these overeducated, high student loan debt individuals who aren't making enough in their normal 9 to 5. So what do? They get together with other individuals with high education and some licensure and certification, and they join forces like a evil ass Voltron, and they go out presenting a product, good, bad, or indifferent, in hopes of being able to make money off of it. To say that, hey, I look really official because I have the word doctor in front of me. I don't subscribe to that, because when I hear, and I'm just going to be for real, so y'all don't hate me on this one, but when I see a black male or a black female that are in certain arenas, and they're the main one screaming, I am doctor this and doctor that and whatnot, I start to question them. When I hear anybody say anything about therapy, about, clinical therapy, psychology, or whatever, whatnot, I'm immediately digging for MPI numbers, because I was in that situation. And the biggest thing for me since about 4 or 5 years ago is that I want to make sure people who need to seek out mental health services are seeking out people that are properly licensed and have all their credentials together with the board in the state that you are located in. We can't continue to allow people who are circumventing the system to be tolerated for the things they do. And that's just not going to work. Let me pivot over to I was on the Jay Witt podcast, and I thought that was an amazing experience. I was really happy to be able to be part of his panel. One of the questions that he put out there that was really interesting is, what do you think that Umar is going to do next? And I said, he's going to be on some type of talk show. He's going to be on some type of dating show. I jokingly called it For the Love of Umar, whatever, whatnot, because I knew that $500 date thing, there was something else to it, and it just didn't feel right. Like there had to be something else. The more that he spoke, it just basically said, hey, let me go ahead and take advantage of African American women and make them pay for a date. Then we're going to film the date, and then I'm going to find a way to grift and make money off that as well. My guess was he would be on Zeus Network. We don't know the network yet, so I still have some hope of being right. But if not, I saw this coming. The reason I saw this coming, ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand how narcissists work. We all know Umar is full of crap. We all know that he is a scammer. We all know that what he is doing is not above board. We know that he has had these buildings that he has masqueraded as a school for a number of years, and nothing has happened. He's not the only one in our community that does things like this. I still press on Tariq Nasheed when it comes to his museum, and people seem to forget the biggest thing about it. You didn't really see a museum come to fruition until people started challenging him in his own forum. And then all of a sudden, here comes the museum. And if I'm correct, there was more money raised for the museum than there was for the FDMG Academy. And then I sit back and I look at interviews now, and I see him on Vlad TV, making sure that you see his red bottoms and everything else. And it's like, okay, brother's profiting off something. I don't think it's going to be that his documentary Mike Check or whatever. I still feel like I was kind of corny because my wife purchased it. But why are you still putting movies on Blu-ray and DVD is beyond me. Neither here nor there. But ladies and gentlemen, I need you to remain vigilant. I need you to test and ask questions because we fail to do that. We need to be invested in what we bring into our communities. We need to understand that we are critical to getting this taken care of and getting understood. I'm getting caught back up. New software is coming, new hardware is in place, and the goal is to be able to give you guys something that you're really going to value, something that's going to give you a real taste of what the Basic Black podcast is. And it's always a pleasure, and it's my humble pleasure to be able to do this day in and day out because a lot of people can't. So I'm definitely blessed to have the love of a good woman and a good puppy and a loving, supportive household. So everybody have a good one. Love on somebody. Let's keep it going. Like, subscribe, and share to the Basic Black Podcast. I'm Reggie, and y'all, I'm out of here. Y'all take it easy now. Peace.